Good afternoon, class. We're going to expand on multiplying binomials today. So we're going to be doing what's called special case multiplying, which is section 9.4. This will be the last section before we take a quiz on Monday. So you will work on some problems on this tomorrow and hopefully understand it well enough that we can be prepared for a quiz on Monday. So here's what the situation is we're going to have squared binomials. So remembering that squaring something just means to multiply it by itself. So let me slide down here and just remind you that 4 squared is 4 times 4, which is 16, and 3 squared, 3 times 3, which is 9. So the idea of squaring something is to multiply it by itself. So I want to show you here, when I ask you, or when the homework is going to ask you to take a binomial, a plus b, and square it, you want to write that as a plus b times a plus b. Now, I know that some of you are going to try to do a shortcut that doesn't exist, so I'm telling you right now, there's no shortcut for this. You have to actually write it out and multiply it out. There's some formulas here that I can give you and show you what it turns out to be, but I want to prove to you how that happens. So here is the formula that you will get if I have a plus b squared. That's a plus b times a plus b. Now, we learned FOIL method today, or we worked on that. So we have to take the first terms, a times a, which is a squared. Then we're going to take the outside terms, which is a times b. Then we're going to take the inside terms, which is b times a, which I'm going to write as ab. Multiplication can be switched. And then we're going to take the last terms, which are b times b, which is b squared. Now notice these two middle terms are the same. So that allows us to just write that as 2ab. So that's how the formula up here, when you have a plus b squared, you get a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Now there's a formula also for when we subtracting inside the binomial. The only difference is that you're going to get a subtraction on your second term in the binomial. So you can have these two formulas written on your key concept sheet. I'm going to do an example of a problem like this and see if you can figure out what it is that we're doing here. So we're going to take y plus 11 squared. So y plus 11 squared is nothing more than y plus 11 times y plus 11. So we're going to multiply the outside terms, first terms to get y squared. Then we're going to multiply the outside terms. That's where we get 11y. Then we're going to multiply the inside terms, 11y. And then the last terms, which is 11 squared, which is 121. So simplifying that, you'll see that we get y squared plus 2y times 11. And then 11 squared, which as we said was 121. So your final answer is y squared plus 22y plus 121. So here's an example of subtraction on the inside. Process is exactly the same. We're just going to take and write the binomial twice, and then we're going to multiply it out. So we get 3w times 3w, which will be 9w squared. So that was multiplying the first terms. Now we're going to multiply the outside terms, and that's where we're going to get a negative 18w. We're going to get that again when we multiply the inside terms, and then the last one is plus 36. Now you may be asking how I got a negative. Well, remember, anytime we multiply by a number and there's a minus in front of it, that makes that product negative. So by simplifying this, we end up with 9w squared. We can add these two together and get negative 36w plus 36. one more formula for me to give you or present to you, and then we'll end the lesson for today. There is going to be situations where we have two things that look like they're the same that we're multiplying, but one will have a plus in it and one will have a minus in it. Now the formula is just a squared minus b squared. And the reason why, and I'm going to show you up here, the reason why that is that when we multiply the outside terms, we get a negative ab because there's a negative b. When we multiply the inside terms, we get a positive ab, which is going to be opposites of each other. And when that happens, when we have that sum, that middle term ends up being 0. So we just get a squared minus b squared left with that product. It's best just to go ahead and FOIL it out like you did yesterday or today in class, and then you can work with it and see that it just eliminates. So that's your lesson for today. We will be working on problems in class that will have to do with these two new formulas. So I will end the lesson for today. And the notes that you'll be required to bring to class are the two key concepts that I presented.